Good day everyone. Today we are going to have a class demonstration about how to graph an ellipse. So first we need to have our equation, and it is 9x squared plus 42y squared plus 126x minus 32y plus 469 equals 0. As you can see, this is not on standard form because the standard form is x minus h squared and y minus k squared. These are called binomial squares. So we need to rewrite the equation into binomial squares. So how do we do that? First, we need to group the x and the y together. So looking back at our equation, this can be 9x squared plus 126x plus 4y squared minus 32y. And we need to transfer the 469 to the other side. So it will become negative 469. So based on our new equation given, we need to make the process of completing the square in order to reach the binomial squares equation. So 9, we must move 9 out, and then the remaining on the parentheses are x squared plus 14x, because 9 multiplied by 14 equals 126x plus 4, we take the 4 out, then the remaining on the parentheses will be y squared minus 8y, because 4 multiplied by 8y equals 32y, and then equals negative 469. To fully create a perfect square binomial, we have the quadratic equation in the form of ax squared plus bx plus c. To complete this square, we are going to take b over 2 and squared multiplied to itself. Thus, no c, but we can still do the equation. As you can see, we are not giving any c's, right? We are just on ax squared plus bx, but accordingly we can still do the equation without the c because there is an alternative process on how to figure out the value of c. Okay. In our equation, we have 9x squared plus 14x plus 4 multiplied by y squared minus 8y equals negative 469. So in order to get the b over 2 multiplied to the power of 2, we have, in the first equation, we have our b as 14. So divided by 2 equals 7 squared equals 49. Then for the next, our b is 8. So 8 divided by 2 equals 4. And then to the power of 2 equals 16. So take those values 49 and 16, then add it to our equation, and then it will become 9x squared plus 14x plus 49, and 49 will become the value of our c, plus 4 and y squared minus 4 multiplied by y squared minus 8y plus 16 equals negative 469. So as you can see, the value of 49 and 16 is the c. So we should understand and remember that what we add or subtract on the left side will also be the same on the right side. So as we add 49 to the left side, we will also add 49 to the right side. And then as we add 16 to the left side, we will also add 16 to the right side. However, we should remember that 49 here is multiplied by 9, so it should be multiplied by 9 also on the other side. And 16 here is multiplied by 4, so it also should be multiplied by 4 on the other side. Okay, clearly gets? We have 49 multiplied by 9 equals 441. While 16 multiplied by 4 equals 64. And we should add this to negative 469, and the result is 36. So we detected or we created a perfect square by trinomial, perfect square for them. So our perfect square is 9x squared plus 14x plus 49 plus 4 multiplied by y squared minus 8y plus 16. To create a perfect square binomial, we need to factor each of this. So the result will become 9x plus 7 because 49 the square root of 49 is 7, so we have to say that x plus 7 squared plus 4, and then the square root of 16 is 4, so we have to put 4 on the side. So 4 multiplied by y minus 4 squared equals 36. That's our binomial square. To set in standard form, we have to decide it to itself, so we have to divide it to itself so we can get 1. So we need to divide 36 over 36, so we must have the answer of 1. So 36 over 36 equals 1, and then what we divide on the right side will also be divided on the left side. So our equation will be 9 multiplied by x plus 7 squared over 36 plus 4 multiplied by y minus 4 squared over 36. So we need to reduce it. So 9 over 36, 9 and 9 multiplied by x plus 7 squared over 36 will become 1 multiplied by x plus 7 squared over 4 plus 4 multiplied by y minus 4 squared over 36 will become 1 over y minus 4 squared over 9 equals 1 because we already divided the 36 over 36. And then we must have it in standard equation. So because 1 multiplied by x plus 7 squared will become x plus 7 squared, and then 1 multiplied by y minus 4 squared will become y minus 4 squared over 4 and over 9 equals 1. So we need to find the value of a squared, b squared, and c squared. And according to the rule, the a squared will always be the higher value and the b squared will be the lower value. So we need to graph it. We need to know the center first. On the center, in order to determine the center, we need h and k values. So according to our standard equation, our h value will be negative 7, and our k value will be positive 4. Because as you can see, if you're wondering why I said negative 7 and positive 4, which the original number is positive 7 and negative 4, that is because the opposite sign of h and k must be copied or must be put as the center. So we are going to find the value of a squared, b squared, and c squared. So our a squared will be 9 because, as I said earlier, we need to have the bigger value for the a squared. And for the b squared, we have the 4. However, for the c squared, we don't have any value, but there is a relationship between a squared and b squared that can be computed and that can result to the creation of c squared. So a squared minus b squared will result to finding our c squared. So our a squared is 9 and our b squared is 4. So 9 minus 4 equals 5, and that is the value of our c squared, 5. However, this is not yet the final answer. Since a squared equals 9, we can divide it. So the square root of 9 will be 3, and that's the value of our a. The square root of the square root of 4 is 2, and that's the value of our b. For the value of our c squared, which is the square root of 5, since 5 cannot be a perfect square, then we will just retain its value as a square root of 5. Explain the relation of our values A, B, and C to the graph. Well, I can say that A represents distance from the center of the vertices, while B, this is the distance from the center to the co-vertices. Then C is the distance from the center to the foci. As we can see here, our A squared is in Y. Going back to our equation, our A squared is Y minus 4 squared over 9. So our A squared is in the Y axis. So it is in major vertical axis symmetry, where our center, our foci, and our vertices all lie in the vertical axis. Up with our graph, we need to first find the center, and based on our equation, our center lies on the -7 and the +4 spot or units. So we will count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 units, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 units for the x, and -7 units for the y. So our point lies in here. Since our value of A, or the major axis, is vertical, so we need to figure out what are or how many units will we move up and down because it is vertical. So since the value of our A is 3, then we need to move 3 units upward and 3 units downward. So 1, 2, 3, our point will lie in here for the upward, then 1, 2, 3, our point will lie in here for the downward. That's our vertices. To find our co-vertices, we need to find the minor axis perpendicular to the major axis. So since our major axis is vertical, our minor axis that is perpendicular must be horizontal. So since the value of our B is 4, or 2 rather, then we should move 2 units from the right and left. So 1 from the major, this is our major axis or the center. So 1, 2, our point will lie in here, and 1, 2, our point will lie in here for the left side. To find the value of the foci, so since our C is the square root of 5, then we need to get the value of the square root of 5 in order for us to get the unit. So the square root of 5 becomes 2.24. So we need to move 2.24, so from the major point or from our major axis center. So 1, 2, then 0.24. We just need to put this one a little point in here, there, and also to the other side we will do the same. So 1 and 2, then we need to have to determine the foci, we need the value of C squared. However, our C squared is the square root of 5, which can't be a perfect square, so we just need to get the value of the square root of 5 so that we can get the points on where we will move our foci. So since the square root of 5 is 2.24, that is already rounded off, then we should put this here. So we should count 2.24 units from our major center or our major axis. So from the center, we just need to count 2.24. So we just gonna estimate this 0.24 over here. And for the downward, we can also do this 1, 2, and a little bit of point here. Okay, that's clear enough. In order to graph this one, we just need to connect the but before that, I forgot to put this as V, to label this one V for our vertices and CV for our co-vertices, and little f here for the foci. Then to graph this one, we just need to connect the vertices and the co-vertices. This one. Sorry for my drawing or for my line. Okay, that one is our graph. Since we are having this major vertical axis symmetry, then we are expecting that our vertices will lie on the y-axis. So, based on the center, our x-axis is -7 and our y-axis is 4. So, to determine the value of the vertices, we need to add 3. First, add 3 and minus 3 to the value of y. So 4 plus 3 equals 7 and 4 minus 3 equals 1. So our vertices will be -7 and 7 and -7 and 1. To determine the covertex, we need the value, or we need to subtract and add the value of -7 to 2. So, -7 minus 2 equals -9 and -7 plus 2 equals -5. So, our co-vertices are -9 and 4 and -5 and 4. To determine the value of the foci, we need to add and subtract 2.24 to our x-axis, which is 4. So, or y-axis rather, which is 4. So 4 plus 2.24 equals 6.24 and 4 minus 2.24 equals 1.76. So the value of our foci will be -7 and 6.24 and -7 and 1.76. And that's it, everyone. Thank you for watching and listening to my discussion.